So Anime Vanguards update 6.5 introduced a bunch of units, most of them doing a bunch of different things, but there's only really a few of them that in my opinion are a must-have. So today that's what we're going to talk about. Let's get started. You guys know the drill. Our ultimate goal is to reach 100k subscribers, and by subscribing before we reach 100k, you can officially be part of the AB Plays family, the AB Plays community, and become an original AB Plays subscriber. So subscribe right now, join our Discord in the pinned comment down below, and let's get started. So here is what I'm going to say before we start. The reason why I didn't make a showcase, I was actually planning to make a showcase on all the exclusive units. I already have Arswid, as you guys can see. I already have Merlin, as you guys can see right here. I already have Marlin, and I also already have Hibano and all the other units. It's because a lot of them right now are bugged. Apparently Arswid is bugged, Remuru is bugged right now, and a lot of them I believe, or actually not a lot of them, but some of them I will just wait to get fixed before I actually do the showcase. So hopefully by around tomorrow they're gonna be fixed, and I'm gonna be making a complete exclusive banner unit showcase. There's about 4 of them, but right now we're gonna talk about the top 3 units you need to get, and none of them are exclusive units. None of them are exclusive units, and that pretty much already tells you the 3 units that you're gonna be getting. And we're gonna be discussing the number 3 one, the one in the 3rd spot, which in my opinion is going to be Conqueror versus Invincible. Invincible versus Conqueror, which is basically just the Mark versus Conquest unit, or Invincible versus Conquest unit. It is the World Lines reward, and you can get it at floor 50. You have like about a month or so to get this unit. So if I were you, I'd probably already start working on this unit, not like Byuki, who basically didn't work on it until like much later. I would probably work on this unit starts right now, because in my opinion, based on what I'm seeing from this unit, he's actually pretty good. So yeah, he's the top 3 unit, and the description of him is he's a pretty good DPS unit. I believe he's actually also full AoE, and with that alone, being a great DPS unit, I was hearing something around 50,000 plus DPS. Now 50,000 plus DPS with Monarch, not including his passive, because with his passives apparently it's around 80,000 to mobs, because he has passives that do certain damages to mobs and bosses and something like that. So that alone makes this unit, in my opinion, pretty good, because DPS is pretty important, and none of the new units in this update are actually really good supports either. So yeah, that's why none of them are in the top 3. But since Mark is a pretty great DPS unit, he's going to be a top 3. Top 2 is going to be Remuru. And the way I'm going to describe Remuru is basically a free-to-play unit. Now, he might not be a must-have if you already have like a bunch of Monarch units. Like if you have like 10 Monarch units, you're probably not going to be able to use this unit. Like this unit, if you're going to compare him to the other Monarchs or to the other units in the game and compare them at their full potential, Remuru doesn't even come quite close to a bunch of the other units with Monarch. So let's say, for example, Goku with Monarch is better, Sid with Monarch is better. A lot of the other meta units are better if they are at their full potential. Dante, Virgil, who else? I think a bunch of these other units are also much better than Remuru if you have Monarch on those units and maybe have like the best familiar. But Remuru is still a pretty great unit, right? If you don't have a bunch of Monarchs, and if you don't have all the meta Monarch units, Remuru is a pretty great option, because he is cheap. And not only is he cheap, he has certain passives that are, by the way, right now broken, that allow him to be able to be upgraded, all 4 of them, with around 70,000 cash, 70 to around 100,000 cash. And if you combine all 4 of them placement, you will have around 40,000 something DPS like that. Also, other buffs can help Remuru. So if you have a buff applied to one Remuru, it could apply to other Remuru. So like maybe familiar buffs, maybe certain units that buffs, like maybe Astolfo. So there's a lot of combo potential with Remuru, in my opinion. So a lot of people are saying he's the better Ragna. In my opinion, Ragna's peak is way higher than Remuru. Ragna's peak potential, Ragna's peak DPS is higher than Remuru, because Ragna can make use of any buff and he can multiply that. Remuru can't. And Remuru also has no freeze, no slow, no stun, and he also has no immunity to anything. But again, because of the fact that he is full AoE, full AoE with great DPS as a free-to-play unit. You don't need any traits. He definitely deserves to be at the top 2 spot in this tier list, or in this ranking that we have right here. Now, the number 1 is obviously going to be Kaguya. Now, the problem with Kaguya, and I'm just going to say this outright, is she is a Monarch merchant. Basically, what she is you need to get her, right? And once you get her, which by the way, she's also like extremely rare. I think I've already done about, if I could see it right now, I just can't see it. I think I've already done about 300,000 total on the spring banner, and I've yet to get a single one of her yet. It's incredibly rare, is what I'm saying, to get a single one of Kaguya. And unfortunately, apart from being rare, she's also a Monarch merchant, which means you need to basically get Monarch on this unit to actually kind of really use her, which is very, very unfortunate in my opinion. Now, you can obviously still use Kaguya without Monarch, but since she is only a 1 placement unit and she has a nuke that's based on her damage, you pretty much are missing out on a lot if you don't have her without Monarch, which is just very sad. It's kind of very similar to Gogeta's situation. Gogeta is so expensive to where if you don't have Monarch on him, he's quite useless. Kaguya is kind of like that, but better, because Kaguya actually has some support passives or support abilities, especially with her dimensions that he can maybe use. So even though, you know, you don't have Monarch on her, maybe if you don't have Monarch on her, you can use her as some type of support. But obviously, this unit is gonna excel so much with Monarch, so that's the number 1 downside to Kaguya. But with that being said, she is still insanely powerful. She is still top 1 in this update, and probably top 2 in the entire game right now. I do think she's better than a lot of the other units. I think she might be better than Sung Jinwoo Vanguard as well. The only reason why I'm probably putting Sung Jinwoo Vanguard over Kaguya is because Sung Jinwoo Vanguard can be used free to play, whereas Kaguya cannot, right? Or Kaguya can be used free to play, but not as well. But yeah, Kaguya is incredibly strong in this update, and is definitely a must-have. Now, that's definitely the top 3 units, and in my opinion, this is pretty much the best list you can have. If you're gonna ask me why they cannot include any of the exclusive banner units, because in my opinion, they're all just not really very great. I tested Arswid out extensively, and if you're gonna doubt why I didn't put Arswid, I already have this unit right here. Right, I've tested this unit specifically, and by the way, this unit right now is apparently bugged, and he's not better than Conquer versus Invincible, Remuru, or Kaguya. These 3 units that I mentioned are at the top because they're just the best. They're really just the best at what they do. So honestly, that's pretty much it for today's video. And if you get these 3 units, I think you're pretty much done with this update in terms of the best units. That's pretty much it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like and sub, and peace out, everybody.